Hello everyone, this is Monstertaming coming at you with another Kindred community newsletter. This time we're covering the September 8th, 2023 newsletter. Now, before we get any further on, just in case any of you have been trying to avoid spoilers for new kinfolk, there is a new kinfolk that was revealed both in Gym Leader's Ed Monstertamer Direct and in this newsletter. So, if you're trying to avoid any spoilers at all for any new kinfolk, you can go now. But for the rest of you, let's continue. New kinfolk, Tadalon. This past Monday, we were thrilled to get to share one of our new kinfolk with you as part of Gym Leader Ed's Monstertaming Direct. Our trailer featured Tadalon, a water type kinfolk, some new abilities, a new song, a touch of lore we hope you find interesting. It took a lot of hard work to put together, and we really loved getting to share a more extensive look at some more recent progress. Be sure to check out the full Monstertaming Direct for trailers and updates on 33 other games in the Monstertaming community. And here he is. This is some pretty nice artwork, if I don't say so myself. And here's the trailer. I'm not going to go through this again because I've already did a video covering this. If you'd like to see that, this is one of my favorite kinfolks. He's right up there in my top 5 easily. But yeah, I love this new design. Maybe like my second favorite so far. Now for the newsletter itself. Art design. We're down to the first handful of animations for North Star, and those remaining animations are in their final phases. This is the final kinfolk we need for our current milestone. The high poly model for an important human NPC was completed this sprint. We've also completed more hairstyles and clothing items and improved the rigging for many of our already implemented hairstyles. One of the new hats is unique and requires some extra work to make it fit with the hairstyles. We also made improvements to how human characters sway while walking around, especially on slopes. Previously, they leaned over too far in order to stay more or less perpendicular to the slope, which led to an unnatural result. Concept art for a new major set piece is in the works. There's a larger point of interest that we plan to use in multiple locations in the world. Many of the final building models have also been placed in town. We're currently experimenting with different colors to create more variety between the houses. The result so far is very charming. In addition to the houses, we're implementing many of the wall models we've shown previously. Most of our cinematic scenes for this milestone have fully completed animations now. Soon we'll be implementing these in Engine while we currently have some preliminary versions as placeholders. They use outdated models and animations. The cinematic animations will be finished in the coming weeks, if not sooner. Additionally, we've been creating smaller cutscenes using standard animations. All in all, they're really tying the sequences together. We continued creating VFX for new abilities. We also made a fix to the old VFX that includes a summoning bell's location after successfully capturing a new kinfolk. The old version had dark outline that didn't look right, and the new version is much cleaner. Our post-processing effects have also been getting some love recently with the reintroduction of volumetric lighting, an effect that many will recognize by the stylish god rays it creates in atmosphere's fog. Our original volumetric lighting solution was incompatible with the project to our switch from Unity's built-in rendering pipeline to the universal rendering pipeline several years ago, but that new method seems to be working very well. We also recently overcame a hurdle that was previously preventing SSAO, screen space ambient occlusion, from working properly. The effects adds shading and depth in areas that need it and wouldn't have otherwise. However, in our case, this is also it's an unfortunate side effect of our shading our grass in a way that looked a bit like TV static. This is thankfully resolved now, but we also need to mask objects like character's face and the effect to prevent it from clashing with their toon shading before we can call it good. And now we have development and combat. Had a lot of improvements to character motion this sprint. For starters, we've add additional fields to many characters, locomotion, blend trees, which improves how they handle sprinting or walking at slow speeds. Also paused the animation transition and blends for jumping and dodging, so all characters correctly play these animations and properly re-enter the grounded state. Previously seeing some characters unintentionally entering the falling state when dodging on flat ground, or jump animations being distorted by blending into falling animations too soon. Modified how the NPC truce state is triggered. This state is an alternative to dying combat where the NPC displays a white flag and freezes the player a few seconds before fading out. The true state now only triggers after the NPC takes fatal damage and leaves them at 1 HP. with a vulnerability for a very brief amount of time. Essentially, it gives the player a choice of allowing the NPC to flee and live another day or kill them in cold blood. Either way, the player will receive experience for defeating them. Truce only triggers for specific NPCs, while others are committed to fighting to the death. By triggering Truth State only after the NPC has received fatal damage, we hope players still feel the satisfaction of victory in combat with the added options of showing mercy to your combatants in certain situations. I'm assuming that whether or not you spare them or kill them is going to affect your bond with your kinfolk. Some of them are going to want you to kill them, some of them want you to spare them. And I wonder if we can see people you spared come back later, either as allies or enemies seeking revenge. That has a lot of potential to it. I really like it. Adjustments were made on how we handle teams with NPCs. Teams are simply a way to categorize a group of NPCs who are affiliated with each other. We now have a way to categorize teams by name and index, and the beginnings of tools for easily modifying relationship between teams. NPCs may interact with friends or foes in different ways depending on how the team views one another. These relationships can dynamically change the game. This opens up options for the player to talk their way into alliances with certain groups, starting combat via dialogue, etc. That is also very cool, and it can kind of maybe tie into this as well. Like maybe you spare someone and their team um like respects you for sparing them. Or maybe even some team respects you for killing one of the team members who are like weak or something like that, maybe like a ruthless team. Be interesting. Kind of functionality to force NPCs interacting with smart objects is a way for our cutscene and dialogue system to interface with NPC movement and animation via smart objects. We've also developed a bunch of nodes for cutscene logic purposes. Work is also being done to ensure that the timing of dialogue, text, camera movements, and other cinematic events are consistent regardless of the game's frame rate. Shrines now exhibit a special behavior when you first discover a new one. Undiscovered shrines will have a blue flame to you interact with them for the first time. This first interaction will also display a special dialogue and heal your team fully. Previously, the player would have to interact with the shrine twice in order to heal. In this case, so the new method is more streamlined. Yep, that is very nice. It's a very, very tiny thing, but quality of life definitely can make the game better. Our grass color tool needed a touch up more to be more readable than when water was nearby. The color mapping tool we used to make the grass blend into textures beneath used to reference the water layer as land textures. The result was some cartoonishly bluish grass along the edge of lakes and rivers. The fix means we'll no longer be importing in the game's grass from Kentucky, so all of that is good and green, interlock green. Thanks for checking by. We'll see you in the next newsletter on September 22nd. And we'll end with a little look at Latalon again. But thank you guys for watching. This has been Monstertaming signing off. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.